Hello everyone, this is Tom Fox. I would like to welcome you to the Sunday Book Review. The Sunday Book Review is the series where I discuss books which impact the compliance practitioner, the legal professional, and the business professional. I hope you will enjoy this episode. The Sunday Book Review for September 26, 2021, the Leadership Edition. And we begin with Bob Woodward and Peril. This book is the transition from President Trump to President Biden. It was one of the most dangerous periods in American history. The study takes us deep inside the Trump White House, the Biden White House, the 2020 campaign, and a wide variety of others. In this first inside look at the Biden presidency, it also takes a look at the challenges of a lifetime. Peril is the extraordinary story of the end of one presidency and the beginning of another, and the culmination of Bob Woodward's news-making trilogy on the Trump presidency. Next up, Humane, How the U.S. Abandoned Peace and Reinvented War by Samuel Moughan. In the years since 9/11, we have entered the age of endless wars. With little debate or discussion, the U.S. carries out military operations around the globe. It hardly matters who's president or whether liberals or conservatives in power. Humane is the story of how America went off to fight and never came back, how armed compact was transformed from an imperfect tool for resolving disputes into an integral component of the modern condition. As American wars have become more humane, they've also become endless. This provocative book argues this development might not represent progress at all. Next up, My Life in Full, Work, Family, and Our Future by Indira Nuri. For a dozen years, Ms. Nuri was the CEO of one of the world's most admired companies, PepsiCo. She redefined what it meant to be an exceptional leader. The first woman of color and an immigrant to run a Fortune 500 company, and one of the most strategic thinkers of our times, she transformed PepsiCo with a unique vision, a vigorous pursuit of excellence, and a deep sense of purpose. Now, in a rich memoir brimming with grace, grit, and good humor, the book offers a first-hand view of Nooyi's legendary career and the sacrifices she made. Generous, authoritative, and grounded in live experience, the book tells a story of an extraordinary leader's life, a moving tribute to the relationships it created, and the blueprint for 21st century prosperity. And we conclude with The Contrarian, Peter Thiel and Silicon Valley's pursuit of power. Since the days of the dot-com bubble in the 1990s, no industry has had a greater impact on the world than Silicon Valley. Few individuals have done more to shape it than Peter Thiel. The billionaire venture capitalist and entrepreneur has been behind-the-scenes operator influencing countless aspects of our contemporary life, from the tech we use to the delicate balance of power between Silicon Valley, Wall Street, and Washington. But despite his power and ubiquity of projects, no public figure has been quite so mysterious. Eye-opening and deeply reported, The Contrarian is a revelatory biography of a one-of-a-kind leader and an incisive portrait of the tech industry, whose explosive growth and power is both thrilling and fraught with controversy. These are all books on leadership that you can draw some good examples, some bad examples, and some examples that you can use in your leadership style as a compliance professional. I hope you'll join me for a great new podcast series entitled Effing Argentina. In this podcast series, myself and Greg Greenberg, the author of Effing Argentina, explore the current American psyche of being overworked, overleveraged, overtired, and overwhelmed. If you are exasperated with current American life, this is the podcast for you. In this month's From the Editor's Desk, I am joined by Dave Leefort, the editor-in-chief of Compliance Week, and we take a look at Compliance Week's top stories. What is design thinking for compliance professionals? How can you use design thinking in compliance? This is a new podcast series I'll be premiering in October, co-hosted with Karsten Tams, where we take a look at cutting-edge social engineering strategies you can use in your compliance program. Finally, I invite you to check out my latest podcast addition to the Compliance Podcast Network, the ESG Report. In this podcast, I focus on the role of compliance in ESG going forward. I know you will enjoy it and, more importantly, find it useful. Thanks for listening.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.